Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Tuesday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page to watch on demand. Today, September 18th, 2018. And now the News at Noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, the driver of an SUV was cited for careless driving after a multiple vehicle crash Monday morning on Hesperus Hill. The driver of a 2005 GMC turned from Durango Highway 140 into the westbound lane of US Highway 160 and collided with a 2017 Dodge minivan, State Patrol Trooper Josh Lewis said. The minivan was headed east. A 2017 Nissan car was also headed east and swerved to avoid the SUV and the van. It sustained damage to its passenger side, Lewis said. Steven Starr, a 39-year-old man from Oregon, was driving the 2005 GMC and received the careless driving citation, Lewis said. One person involved in the crash, a 25-year-old passenger traveling in the Nissan, was injured in the crash, he said.
From the Journal, photo credit San Miguel SAR. A technical rescue effort was required Saturday to reach a man who had died while climbing Telluride's Via Ferrata. The 76-year-old Grand Junction man suffered a life-threatening medical event while climbing, according to a press release from the San Miguel Sheriff's Office. He had just completed the, quote, main event, the most technical portion of the Via Ferrata, about 4 p.m., when he sat down on a narrow ledge and became unresponsive. His stepdaughter started CPR, called 911, and yelled for help. Telluride Fire Protection District's EMS and fire personnel, San Miguel County Sheriff's deputies, and Telluride deputy marshals were dispatched to the scene. Because of the remote location, responders had to hike through treacherous terrain to reach the patient. A guided tour group on the Via Ferrata heard the woman's cry for help and came to assist with CPR. After a total of nearly 45 minutes of resuscitative efforts, the man was pronounced dead about 4:45 p.m., according to the press release. Sheriff deputies and a dozen search and rescue volunteers executed a 5-hour, highly technical recovery mission in cliff terrain. I'm proud of the collaborative efforts of our first responders. Certainly this is an unfortunate outcome, and our thoughts are with the victim's family, said Telluride Fire Protection District Chief John Bennett. The cause and manner of death were being investigated by the San Miguel County coroner per protocol. Trauma was not a contributing factor, officials said. The Via Ferrata sits at the east end of Telluride's Box Canyon on the south side of Ajax Peak, accessing a natural ledge system via man-made iron rungs and steel cables. Climbers use harnesses and a tether system connected to a cable while traversing a cliff side using iron rungs attached into the cliff. The increasingly popular climbing trail traverses horizontally with extreme exposure 400 feet above the mountainside. Given our mountainous environment, we encounter incidents that require time and technical skills on treacherous terrain, said San Miguel Sheriff Bill Masters.
According to the Durango Herald, U.S. health officials say teenage use of e-cigarettes has reached epidemic levels and are calling on the industry to address the problem or risk having their flavored products pulled off the market. The warning from the Food and Drug Administration on Wednesday marks a stark shift in the agency's tone on e-cigarettes, which have become the most used tobacco product among teenagers. Since 2017, FDA officials have discussed e-cigarettes as a potential tool to wean adult smokers off cigarettes. But FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb says the agency did not predict an epidemic of addiction among youth, mainly driven by flavored products. Gottlieb says the 5 largest e-cigarette manufacturers will have 60 days to produce plans to immediately reverse underage use of their products.
From the Journal, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper is creating a Political Action Committee, or PAC, putting him a giant step closer to jumping into the race for president in 2020. Colorado Politics confirmed on Monday. The leadership PAC is called Giddy Up, and it is allowed to raise money and other campaign resources to help Hickenlooper travel to raise this profile and do other things candidates do. A source close to the effort said Hickenlooper will head south to campaign for fellow Democrats in tough gubernatorial races, including Stacey Abrams in Georgia and Andrew Gilliam in Florida. A leadership PAC is typically an organization formed by a political leader to raise and distribute campaign funds. PACs can generally accept up to $5,000 per year from individual donors or other political action committees. Ahead of the 2016 election, several politicians created leadership PACs before formally announcing their candidacy for president. Forming a leadership PAC is dipping a toe in the race, not a full-fledged announcement of candidacy, a Hickenlooper confidant told Colorado Politics. Hickenlooper has a press conference scheduled today at 11 a.m. Tuesday at the Colorado Capitol to discuss a new program for older residents in partnership with AARP, which is sure to draw significant media attention. But several recent assessments by national media of top Democratic contenders for president in 2020 have paid scant attention to Hickenlooper, if they mentioned him at all, suggesting he may have significant work to do to raise his national profile should he want to become a serious contender. If he formally joins the race, Hickenlooper would bring a moderate voice to a what is expected to be crowded Democratic field, running hard to the left in reaction to President Trump's hard right policies. The Giddy Up PAC will be what's called a hard PAC, meaning Hickenlooper will retain direct control over it and have the authority to control its messaging. Hickenlooper has famously eschewed negative campaigning in his 2 terms as governor and 2 terms as Denver's mayor. Brad Comar, Hickenlooper's campaign manager in 2014, who worked on Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, will lead the governor's PAC. Comar was the campaign manager for Ralph Northam's win over Ed Gillespie in the Virginia governor's race last November. Hickenlooper used the phrase "giddy up" to conclude his final State of the State address to the legislature in January, saying, "One last time from this podium, giddy up."
Reported by the Durango Herald, the Colorado Supreme Court has upheld a law that allows judges to reduce the sentences of prisoners serving life without parole for crimes they committed as juveniles. Monday's ruling came in the case of Curtis Brooks, convicted of murder in a 1995 slaying when he was 15. When Brooks requested a resentencing hearing, Arapahoe County District Attorney George Brouchler argued the resentencing law was unconstitutional. He said it gave preferential treatment to Brooks and 16 other prisoners in the same circumstances. Brouchler is a Republican running for state attorney general. Brooks' attorney Drew Nielsen said the resentencing hearing can proceed. The legislature passed the resentencing law in 2016 after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that mandatory sentences of life without parole for juveniles were cruel and unusual, violating the U.S. Constitution. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The national weather still shows remnants of Florence, which will produce heavy to potentially excessive heavy rainfall today, with amounts of 1 to 2 inches in isolated areas of 4 inches across portions of northern mid-Atlantic and southern New England. More rain spread across the northern half of the U.S. and lingering over the Gulf states, with mostly dry weather across the west. Regionally, southwesterly winds remain in place over eastern Utah and western Colorado this morning. Drier air has moved in behind the weak disturbance that brought clouds and a few isolated showers to the north through the overnight hours. To our west, a core of stronger jet stream winds remain over the Great Basin. Northeast Utah and northwest Colorado will sit on the fringes of this wind on Tuesday afternoon. Another day of above average temperatures will result in strong mixing and will allow some gustier winds over the north part of the state. Wind gusts in the 20 to 25 mile an hour category will result in borderline critical fire weather conditions. The National Weather Service out of Grand Junction announced the high temperature in Grand Junction is expected to reach 91 degrees on Tuesday today, and if this verifies, Tuesday will be the 90th 90-degree day of 2018 and will tie the all-time record for 90-degree days in a year set back in 1977. After a dry overnight, clouds will increase over western Colorado on Wednesday morning. A plume of subtropical moisture is expected to move northward through Arizona and New Mexico and into the Four Corners region by noon. An approaching trough from the west will support some opportunities for rain, and areas favored by moist southwest flow will be especially likely to see rain and some thunderstorms on Wednesday afternoon. So our local DCTV 5-day outlook is today sunny with a high near 82 here. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour, becoming southwest in the afternoon. Tonight, a 20% chance of showers after 4 a.m., mostly clear with a low around 55. South-southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. And into Wednesday, a slight chance of showers and then a chance of showers and thunderstorms after noon. Partly sunny with a high near 77. Southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. The chance of precipitation is 30% according to NWS. Wednesday night, a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m. and then a chance of showers between 9 p.m. and midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 50. South-southeast winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Again, the precipitation rate is is at 30%. Thursday, sunny with a high near 76. South-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour becoming north in the morning. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 49. And Friday, then sunny with a high near 78. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 49. And Saturday, that's September 22nd, the Three Sisters Ag Fest, sunny with a high near 77. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 51. And into Sunday, sunny will be sunny again with a high near 78. And Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 52. And don't forget to post on the Facebook group Dove Creek Local Weather Photos with a picture of your outdoor weather. Here's a photo of yesterday's sunrise. The smoke from the bull draw fire makes for a hazy start to the day. Thanks for sharing your weather pics. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a judge has denied a request to investigate if prosecutors or police leaked information to the media in the case of a Colorado man charged with killing his family and dumping their bodies at an oil worksite. The Daily Camera reports attorneys for Christopher Watts filed a motion last month asking for an investigation into extrajudicial statements that could prejudice a jury in the case, pointing to a number of news articles that used unnamed sources close to the investigation. Weld County District Court Judge Marcelo Kopkow wrote in denying the motion last week that the defense failed to show any court violations or evidence of Watts suffering from prejudice. Watts was arrested last month in the deaths of 34-year-old Sheenan Watts, 4-year-old Bella, and 3-year-old Celeste.
From the Journal, courtesy photo. The Bureau of Land Management and U.S. Forest Service will host 3 public meetings as part of the planning process for the Bears Ears National Monument. The draft monument plans for the Shashja and Indian Creek units and associated environmental impact statement were released for public review on August 17th. More information about the planning effort may be found on the BLM e-planning project page online. The meetings are scheduled for October 2nd from 5 to 8 p.m. at the San Juan High School in Blanding, October 3rd from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Bluff Community Center in Bluff, and October 4th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Whitehorse High School in Montezuma Creek on Highway 262. Residents may speak with resource specialists, ask questions, and submit written comments. Written comments also may be submitted through November 15th via mail or email. The BLM initiated planning to prepare management plans for the Bears Ears National Monument, Indian Creek Unit, and for the Shashja Unit, which is co-managed with the Monte La Salle National Forest. Since then, the BLM and the Forest Service have worked with agencies to develop management plans and a draft EIS reflecting input from stakeholders and the public. The plans include options addressing management issues brought forward during scoping. People who use a telecommunications device for the deaf may call the Federal Relay Services at 800-877-8339. Replies are provided during normal business hours.
From the Durango Herald, scientists say they've found a new way to help determine whether specific genetic abnormalities are likely to make people sick, a step toward avoiding a vexing uncertainty that can surround DNA test results. Researchers use genetic engineering to create thousands of tiny variations in a gene linked to breast cancer. They tested each one in a lab to predict whether it would promote the disease if it appeared in a person. When those predictions were checked against what scientists already knew about the BRCA1 gene, we were very accurate, said Leah Starita of the Brotman Beatty Institute for Precision Medicine in Seattle. The technique, which she and her colleagues hope to extend to other genes, is aimed at easing a frustrating problem in genetic testing. Sometimes those tests reveal an abnormality in a gene linked to the disease, but nobody knows whether that particular quirk is hazardous. It's called a variant of uncertain significance, or VUS. The new work aimed to identify tiny variants in the BRCA1 gene's DNA code that keep it from working. Mutations that disable this gene greatly raise the risk of breast and ovarian cancer. Results were published Wednesday by the journal Nature. Researchers created nearly 4,000 tiny variations in key sections of the gene, then they tested whether each variant crippled the gene within cells that die when BRCA1 isn't working. That let them predict which variations would promote cancer if found in a person. To check the accuracy of their predictions, they consulted a database that lists the effects of BRCA1 variants. Results showed 169 of the variants they generated had been declared dangerous in the database, and the test had predicted that 162 of them. Similarly, the test correctly categorized 20 of 22 variants deemed harmless in the database.
The Dove Creek Press printed the Dove Creek Mayor's address last week to update the town on some of the issues they are currently facing that will affect the public. Mayor Martin wrote, quote, "Hello everyone, it has been a very busy few months. A few items are on our mind and in need of mentioning to all of you. We continue to work on water resources. We have an engineering firm putting together a feasibility study for us on replacement of the water line from the pumps at the river up the hill and to the reservoir. It is approximately 9 miles of pipe. We would like to have a plan in place to have that pipe replaced and have the ability to pump water to the reservoir as early as this time next year. If the drought continues, we could very well need to be using that water to supply the town with water to carry us through the winter of next year. You also need to know that our reservoir is nearly full of water, and based on trend analysis, that amount of water will carry us through until next summer. It is after that point that we are wanting to be prepared for. Plan for the worst and hope for the best." Item 2 on the list is a thank you from the board to Mr. Fraser and Mr. Chad for the field trip to update us on the town's lagoon or sewer system and the water treatment plant. We were proud and surprised how effective both systems are functioning. The results are impressive. I have been in contact with our state representative about the state-mandated ammonia standards that seem to be getting harder and harder to comply with when it is not a problem here in our lagoon system. There needs to be a variance granted to us. Item 3 on the list is that we are looking at moving to an updated water dock. We need to stay in compliance with state regulations such as water backflow and contamination. The other reason is better accountability of our water resources. The system is aging, and it is a good investment in and for our community. Item 4 on the list is very concerning, but we do not have much choice. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment requires by state statute Regulation 11.39 that public water systems have a written and properly implemented, quote, backflow prevention and cross-connection control program. The town is to identify the total number of non-single-family residential service connections, which includes all commercial, industrial, and multifamily service connections. Each of these is to have in place an air gap, check valve, or backflow prevention assembly in place. This will prevent contamination from getting back into the supply water. What does that mean? Cross-connection is where drinking water is connected to uses that make the water no longer potable. Under certain conditions, the unintended reverse flow of fluids can pass through a cross-connection and could potentially contaminate the drinking water distribution system, presenting an immediate health risk to you and potentially your neighbors. As I understand it, those affected will need to install a backflow device at the supply point and will need to have an annual test done and presented to the town and recorded and ready for state review. We have been slow in enforcing the regulation. This regulation was put into place in 2017, and we're coming into close of 2018. There is a timetable in place to be 100% compliant. We will be contacting each non-single family residential entity and working with them to the best that we can to get everyone in compliance with the new regulation. There are several of you that have something in place already, and we thank you. And let's review in summary: 1, a backflow prevention in place; 2, an annual test by a state licensed inspector; and 3, an on-site inspection by the town representative and signed off and in the file. The state has made the cities and towns the policing agent for this regulation. And finally, item 5 on the list is that we are going to be doing our annual street maintenance of chip and seal in the next month. We will be working on Main Street, First Street, Dove Street, and Marion Street. The next board meeting for the town of Dove Creek is Thursday, September 20th at 7 p.m. at the town office.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of September 10th through the 16th. Arrested David Harbin of Dolores County on charges of cultivation with 6 plants of marijuana and no more than 30 plants of marijuana. This resulted from a search warrant being executed on his property. Subject was transported to Montezuma County Jail. Arrested Jody Ellis of Dolores County on charges of cultivation of 6 plants of marijuana and no more than 30 plants of marijuana. This arrest resulted from a search warrant being executed on the property. Subject was transported to the Montezuma County Jail. Received a request for a welfare check on a local resident. A deputy located the subject and all was okay. That concludes today's roundup. Stay tuned for continued updates.
And today's High Canyon Country happening. Saturday, September 22nd, Rico's favorite band will be live in the Beer Garden for the last time this summer at the Enterprise Bar and Grill. It runs from 2 to 5 p.m. Enjoy the Rico State of Mind. Also September 22nd, America's best idea, the national parks, is even better when it's free. The 4 entrance fee-free days remaining, entrance-free days remaining in 2018 are September 22nd, National Public Lands Day, this Saturday, and November 11th on Veterans Day. The entrance fee waiver for the fee-free days does not cover amenity or user fees for things such as camping, boat launches, transportation, or special tours. September 22nd is also the 100-year celebration of Honeyville in Durango. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Honeyville's been in business for 100 years. Celebrate with prizes from the prize wheel, honey sticks for the kids, hot dogs and burgers, and live broadcasts from The Point 92.9. The Point will be broadcasting from 11 to 1 p.m. Be sure to listen throughout this week for special chances to win a mini 8 sampler box of Honeyville honey. But locally, keep September 22nd open for the Three Sisters Ag Fest at the fairgrounds 4 miles west of Dove Creek. The Dove Creek Chamber's 2018 photo contest winner will be announced with a prize of $100. There's a food competition featuring corn as the main ingredient, Dove Creek Sinclair smoked meat, pulled pork sliders, games, door prizes, biggest zucchini competition, and the unique zucchini launch. Come out and enjoy some music and fun from 4 to 7 p.m. If you'd like to volunteer to help with the event, contact the Chamber 970-560-2856. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday and is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
And be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area. And of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.